I started looking into the importance of our data and data ownership and our data sovereignty. The future is our data. I say future is, data is, I call it new water because it's everybody's right. We need to protect our right. So Genesis One Capital is a venture fund that we're investing in companies that are protecting and better monetizing and using the data. And here we're talking about data in, let's say, energy, carbon captures, carbon sequestration. So we're talking about the importance of data, and we're here to talk about the importance of the integration of software and hardware. So we're here to make actions, to take actions, and we would need definitely these wonderful children and everybody to be our activists, but we're here to take actions and to be able to move the needle about the climate crisis that we're facing. So I started an innovation lab, which is called the ImpactX Lab, and I joined forces with AI. So we created an AI and sustainability lab. Ben is one of my partners, and we have Hendrik that has an energy innovation lab, and then we have an early stage startup in Region.network that is important that we have innovation hubs, because the challenges of the climate, it's very large challenges that we're facing, so we need to have collaborations of policymakers, financiers, we need activists, we need innovators, we need entrepreneurs, we need research team, we need data scientists to be around one table, and they don't leave the room until they find the solution. That's the only way we can get this done, into my opinion. So we created this, we're doing this once every month in New York, and we would like to welcome everyone who wants to be part of this coalition, and we need funding, we need a strategic partnership, and across the board. With that said, I would like to introduce the panelists. Dr. Ben Gordsell, who is here from Hong Kong. Really pleased to have you here, Ben. He's the CEO of the decentralized AI network Singularity Net, a blockchain-based AI platform company, and the chief scientist of Hanson Robotics. Dr. Gordsell also serves as the chairman of the Artificial General Intelligence Society, which is the Open Foundation, the Decentralized AI Alliance. Hendrik is the chief strategy officer of the New Energy Nexus, which is an energy innovation hub, I call it, an international organization that supports clean energy entrepreneurs with funds, accelerators, and networks. He started in California, and now he expanded his innovation hub to India, China, and East Africa, and Southeast Asia. We're very pleased to have you here. Thank you. And our last panelist, Christian Shear, who is CEO of Region.network, innovative contracting platform, and I've been this company's fan for the past 3 years, and now we're very much involved to helping them expand and scale. Christian has been working in ecological agriculture for the past 15 years, primarily with farmers in Southeast Asia. Thank you for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
So, the first question is that, Ben, would you please go ahead and tell us about your background and why you're in the space of AI, artificial intelligence? Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've been doing AI research and development for more than 30 years now, since getting a PhD in math in the late 1980s, and there's really been two threads what I've been doing. One is R&D aimed at the longer-term goal of artificial general intelligence. And I introduced the concept of AGI, artificial general intelligence, in 2004, and we've seen it take off a lot recently, most recently with Microsoft putting $1 billion into OpenAI for AGI research. But then, on the other hand, I've been engaged with applying AI in a huge variety of different domains, from robotics with the Sophia robot, whose software I created, which is the most realistic, emotionally expressive humanoid robot, but then in fintech, in IoT, in medicine and genomics, and also in agriculture and smart power management, which is what has led Hanya and I to talk about how we can use AI to move forward with sustainability initiatives, which we'll do a little later in this panel.
Yes, thank you, Ben. Hendrik, would you tell us a little bit about your background and why you started this, your Energy Innovation Hub?
Okay, yes, so I've been working in developing startup ecosystems, innovation ecosystems for the last decade. I worked in London in renewable energy standards, or renewable investment standards, and I worked a number of years on that topic, and I saw that there wasn't enough, we needed more solutions. So a group of people, we started the Finance Innovation Lab after the financial crisis in 2008. It's now a 10-year-old institution that is supporting new initiatives and startups in social and environmental finance. Since then, I've been working in a number of different fields. I helped the European Union with creating innovation ecosystems. I've worked with social entrepreneurs in Cairo, post-revolution. And since the last 5-6 years, I focused solely on clean energy because we all hear climate change is the biggest challenge of our time, and clean energy, in my view, is one of the biggest solution areas to solve. And similarly, as in finance, I believe there's not one technological solution. We need dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of solutions. And so we're building a global startup and innovation platform called New Nexus that now operates in over 7 different countries that provides startups with training, with financing and connections around the world. So we really want to scale the many solutions in the world.
Wonderful. Sorry if you're talking too fast because we have a very short time.
And I'm very caffeinated.
Christian, would you tell us a little bit about your background and why did you start Regen.Network? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been working in ecological agriculture for the past 15 years or so, a lot of that time in Southeast Asia, working with smallholder farmers, just seeing how hard they work to provide food that ends up on our tables and how little they get back for that. What emerged for me is the fact that we actually have all the solutions that we need in terms of on-the-ground implementation. Whether we're talking about rangeland management, or we're talking about cropping systems, or we're talking about the growth of perennial fruit crops, the techniques and strategies are already out there to solve the biggest problems that we have in this world. The sequestration of carbon back into biological systems, the regrowth of the biodiversity of our species, water infiltration, clean water strategies, clean air strategies, it's already all there. The challenge is we have 400 million farmers across the planet that are really challenging to make agreements with. It's really challenging to figure out who it is we can connect with, whether they're willing to make the ecological shifts, and how we can verify that they've made those ecological shifts once we've made those agreements with them. So Regen.Network is on a path to solve all 3 of those problems. We're building a marketplace that connects institutions like General Mills, the Nature Conservancy, with individual farmers. We're using a whole suite of verification strategies to verify the fact that they've really created the impact on the ground, and then to track that impact so that if any organization makes a claim about ecological impact, that claim is absolutely auditable back to the date and the place of that impact, and you can tell that it hasn't been double counted. So if we can get the finance right between institutional partners that want to sequester carbon and create biodiversity, and with the farmers that need those finances to make that impact shift, we can rapidly turn around what's happening on this planet.
Very nice. So we're now using many technologies such as IoT, blockchain, smart contracts, solar smart grid management, energy efficient matrix. So how are these pioneer technologies helping to address the seemingly impossible challenges, aka climate change, that are involved in saving the planet, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really the key question that's brought us all here, I think, is if humanity continues business as usual, I mean the ecosystem is going to be pretty badly screwed, at least from a human perspective, in the next few decades, most likely. I mean, it's not like we're all going to die or the Earth is going to turn into a lifeless hunk of rock, but I mean, many species will die, and the human habitation will become much less pleasant than it is now. And if we want to stop this from happening, it's clear the standard political and business structures that we have on the planet now, they're not going to do the trick. They're going to keep trying to patch things up incrementally, bit by bit, and it's not going to get there in time, given the pace of damage that's being incurred, which we can't even accurately estimate or predict right now. So if we want to really impact what's happening on the planet in a positive way, we need to do something that's above and beyond business as usual. And, you know, doing strikes and social actions and so on is extremely valuable, but I also think that we need some radical technological interventions. I mean, that's not the only path. The other path would be a massive change of consciousness of most people on the planet, and that would be great also. Being a technologist, I'm seeing, like, you know, these mobile phones are everywhere. I spent a lot of time in Africa and Ethiopia. Every student has one of these now, and half the rural farmers have smartphones, the rest have feature phones. Like, a technology can become pervasive and transformational in a brief period of time, and I think AI is on the verge of that level of transformation. Like, if you asked me in 1980 what were computers going to transform, I would have said everything, and they have. Right now, if you ask me what's AI going to transform, I will say everything. AI is going to invade everyone's home, even more than it is now, every office, every industry, every device, by integration of Internet of Things. AI and medicine and medical devices is going to transform our bodies and our health. And with precision farming and sensors on plants, AI is transforming agriculture. So AI is going to be transforming the world in the next years and decades. And then the question is, who owns and controls it, and toward what end? Right now, most of what AI is doing on the planet, courtesy of the large corporations rolling it out, is what I think of as selling, killing, spying, and gambling on the markets, basically. Now, all of these are good things. They're part of human life, but there may be a bit of an overemphasis, right? So what we want to do is shift the center of gravity of AI application toward things like, you know, scientific research, art and creative innovation, life extension, and bodily health for the end, promoting health in the environment and sustainability. And so then the question is, what can we do to use AI as it grows and becomes one of the dominant features on the planet? What can we use AI? How can we use AI to promote sustainability? And this is important for two reasons. It's important for the direct and obvious reason that AI is a powerful force. That's great. It's also important because if you believe that we're in this species of minds, what's on the mind of the first general intelligence? Is it selling, killing, spying, and gambling? Or is it kindness, compassion, and caring for sentient beings on the planet? If we bring up our baby AI minds with a mindset of compassion for all life forms, well, there's a higher odds that this AGI mind that gets really, really smart is going to care about human life forms as well as the rest of the planet. So that's high-level motivation. And what can we do in practice? I mean, one thing I've been doing, so we built this blockchain-based decentralized AI platform called SingularityNet, which uses blockchain to enable many different AIs to collaborate and cooperate together and share information to solve problems. And we have a for-profit company called Singularity Studio that builds commercial AI projects using this platform, and then a joint venture with Hanya's innovation hub and sustainability lab called Vitas.ai, which is aimed at using this blockchain-based AI platform to solve sustainability problems. So we're trying to work in a number of different threads in parallel here. So we're working with Cisco on car traffic prediction. So if you can figure out where traffic is going to go in the future, you can then regulate traffic flow through things like, you know, intelligent traffic lights and feedback between traffic sensors and the smart cars themselves. And you can minimize wastage of fuel and use of energy in the roads. We're working on precision farming and automatic diagnostics of crop disease, and then delivering each plant exactly what it needs using AI. So each of these applications is important. Ultimately, what you need is sensors everywhere, which we already have for spying on people. You need the sensors everywhere and you need them integrated toward the common good, toward minimizing wastage of power and promoting growth and life of humans, animals,
To measure
and
the
plants.
impact.
Well, to measure the impact so as to direct growth in a positive way. And I think in the end what we're looking at is, Gaia, the mind of the ecosystem, sort of synergizing with the AI mind that we're building across all the embedded devices and computers into a sort of cyborg mind of the planet. And that's really what we're building. And it's not, it's something new, right? We're not talking about going back to nature fully, because advanced technology is unfolding, and it's sort of beyond our power to stop it, even if we wanted to. We're talking about directing the emerging AI minds in the direction of promoting sustainability, and that has to do with more different application areas than we can go over right now, and they all need to connect together.
We never said it's easy, we said it's worth it. So that's why Innovation Hub, to have a hub to tackle the challenges. Thank you, Ben. And same question for you, Hendrik. Using technologies such as generation technology, solar, smart grid management, energy efficiency matrix, how are you using these technologies to address the seemingly impossible challenges that we're facing today?
Yeah, that's a big question. So yeah, I'm coming at this from a clean energy angle, and most of the time when we talk about clean energy, and also the last few days we talk about wind and solar, which can probably take care of most of our energy needs. We talk about electric vehicles, a lot of talk about hydrogen as a way to kind of store and transport energy in between that, but there's a lot of hardware that we talk about. If we were to go 100% renewable tomorrow, if we would replace all our vehicles with electric vehicles tomorrow, use hydrogen wherever we need it, we would still not be there. We would have energy at times that we don't need it, we would be using energy at times that we don't have it. So optimization of the whole energy system is really crucially important. And in China they call this the energy internet. And we're moving to a system where every unit that uses electricity or electrons is communicating with everything else in the world. So power plants, rooftops, batteries, cars, your fridge, your washing machine, everything needs to communicate with everything to optimize the load and have high efficient energy. And then we don't have to build huge amount of generation. So optimizing these things is very important. Artificial intelligence, many other IoT, all these technologies contribute to building this intelligent, smart, global energy system. And there are examples of that, like Google used their DeepMind department to run on all their data centers. They reduced energy use, I think with like 30 or 40%, just by looking at how they, when the data is being used, when energy is being produced, optimizing cooling systems. They now use DeepMind's now collaboration with Natural Grid in the UK, so they're going to try to do that on a country level. So what kind of optimization can we do on a country level? So there's electricity prices, wholesale prices that allow renewable energy to produce more efficiently. There's peer-to-peer trading between consumers. There's a company, LO3 in Brooklyn, that is experimenting with that. So there's many applications how we can make the energy system smarter. And we as an organization therefore focus as much on software startups as on hardware startups. And the good thing with software startups is that they can scale really fast. So that helps us to get to our goal of 100% in smart energy system faster.
Mainly, we're talking about the integration of software and hardware, and how we use software, the new technology and software technologies to create a bigger network effects and create more scalability. Same question for you, Christian. How are you using the current DLT, distributed ledger technologies, and AI and IoTs, censorship IoTs, to create a better network effects in carbon sequestration in what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So the current market for ecosystem services is somewhere around $36 billion in 2017, and it's growing rapidly, and it has to grow really rapidly. The people that we need to involve in that is the 400 million farmers around the world. Whether they're farming 1,000 acres or they're farming half an acre, I'm really interested in getting them involved. There's a lot that they can do for us in terms of ecosystem services. A farmer who's growing mangoes is also growing habitat for birds. A farmer who's growing corn is also growing infiltration of water. A farmer who's growing beef is also growing the well-being of our water systems and the health of the Caribbean, right? If we value these ecosystem services, the capital markets need to be able to put a value on that. So we'd like farmers to be able to get paid not just for carbon credits, which is already an established market, but also for the infiltration of water and for the production of biodiversity and for clean water outcomes, etc. So how does technology play in this? I mean, the biggest challenge we face is how do you trust the fact that when you get a biodiversity credit that is supposed to represent real-world biodiversity increases in some way, how do you track that, right? We've decided to incorporate blockchain technology into our platform for the trust, transparency, and governance aspects that it allows, right? So we don't have time to get into the particulars of blockchain technology, but it's built in such a way that a number of disparate parties that traditionally may not trust each other can say, this is a commons tool. This is a tool that's governed by a set of known actors that all have their own incentives in place, and the way that it's run helps me feel confident that the data has been managed in a way that I can trust, that the payments have been managed in a way that I can trust, and that it is all transparent and auditable. That is absolutely necessary for the future of a robust ecosystem services credits market that has complete auditability involved in it. We need to make sure that things aren't double counted. That has happened a lot in the past. We need to make sure these things aren't kind of don't actually represent real world impact. If you invest into carbon credit or you invest into water infiltration or into clean water, I want you to be able to click on a few buttons and find out that that really represents, in a place and a time, real world impact.
Wonderful. I think we're the only panel who didn't go over time. So with that said, we have five.
We still have time.
We still have time. So we have 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. I would like to open it for Q&A to make it more interactive. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so have you developed a platform that manages all of this? It's like a dashboard login?
So as the question was asking, I think you're asking me, was have we developed a platform? Where are we at in our development?
Yeah.
We were just accepted into the second round of the Techstars Nature Conservancy Accelerator Program in the business. So we're joined with 9 other companies who the Nature Conservancy has identified as being able to potentially 10x their impact in the world. Where we're at right now is in the piloting phase. We've purposely gone very horizontal and on our pilots. We're working with the Rainforest Foundation on protecting forests with indigenous peoples in Peru. We're working with a consortium of chocolate companies on agroforestry cacao. So we're early in our development, but having great strides.